Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is my Yokomo YD-2 EX, and it is an amazing rear-wheel drive drifting machine. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the videos on my YouTube channel. It is an amazing drifter. Now, I just produced a video of all the settings and everything I have going on inside this to make it the machine that it is. I'll put a link right up here in the video so you can link to that if you so choose. But today what we're going to be doing is actually upgrading the power system. Now, I have a very inexpensive Trackstar ESC from Hobby King in here that's been doing the duties for a while, and also a OMG 10.5 motor, an older style one. And so we're going to be upgrading that to the Racing Performer Drift D1 series from Yokomo. This is a 10.5 brushless motor, and we're also going to be upgrading to the BL Pro 4 brushless speed controller from Yokomo. It has a fan, and it has some capacitors on it that is going to help transfer that power to where we need to go. And the last thing, but not least, is this Wi-Fi unit. The Wi-Fi unit is going to tie into the ESC so I can actually change the parameters through my phone. So first off, this is the Bluetooth unit. It plugs directly into the ESC. This is what's going to allow you to talk to your ESC through your iPhone or your Android device. Let's take a look at the D1 series drift racing motor. This is like 10.5, like I said. Let's just take a look at this bad boy here. It says D-Spec on it. This is specifically made for drifting by Yokomo. Looks like a pretty stout little motor here. And this is where the sensor wire plugs into. Now, one of the reasons I'm making this video is the instructions are all in Japanese. There's no English written words on the pages. So I've gotten some advice from a couple people. Number one being Keith down at GGT, which is the track that I go to, and he highly recommends these products. Alright, this is the fan that comes along with the ESC. It's going to be mounted to the top. It's got some long screws here and a little plug that plugs directly into the ESC. This right here, if you guys can see, is this little rubber cap. We're going to pop this out of here, and that's where the Bluetooth unit is going to be wired into or plugged into. It's a PRG. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. So what I'm going to do first is kind of decide where I want my ESC and my motor wires to line up and everything. I had my ESC previously underneath the center of the deck there. I think I'm going to move it off to one side and then move my receiver from this side over to the other side. It might help to clean up the wiring if I rotate this like this, and then we have the shortest distance between the wires and the ESC. But as far as the spots for the ESC goes, where we're going to wire everything up, so here's your positive pole, negative pole here, and here's A, B, and C for the A, B, and C motor pole, or the soldering point on the motor. So those are all going to correspond, and my capacitor here is going to, see those two little holes right there? It's going to actually pop up through those holes and solder into the point where the positive and negative are. You want to make sure you have that red spot on the capacitor as your positive so you don't reverse this. Guys, so there we have it. We have the three motor wires, which is every other wire right here, and we have our positive and negative right here, which are the two inside wires right there, and we also have the positive to positive here for the capacitor. Now, capacitor is probably going to come all the way around this side, because I think we're going to be placing this on the frame a little bit like this. So we'll just have those wires out of the way, and then the motor wires are going to go straight across from here to here onto our motor. So I'm going to go ahead and double-side stick tape this ESC to the chassis here, just so that it's stable and I know exactly where it's going to be. I'm going to test fit the carbon plate here to make sure that it's not going to be interfering with the fan, which is going to go on top just like that. It seems like it's pretty low profile, so I'm going to do that right now. Guys, I always use this Scotch Outdoor 3M tape from Home Depot. I get a huge roll of it. It lasts me for a couple of years, which is really nice. This stuff is great because when you do remove it, it comes off all in one big piece. It doesn't leave any sticky residue on your frame, and it sticks really, really well. I'm just going to place this right on the underside here, nice and flat. Just going to do a quick test fit here and make sure that the carbon plate is not going to be interfering with the ESC, and it looks like it'll do just fine right there. I could probably even scoot this over a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for right now. Looks really nice. It looks like a mess, but it's pretty nice. So I'm going to get my motor screws right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and install the motor. No pinion at this point, but I'll do the pinion in just a moment. You just want to make sure that these screws are not going to be too long to where they're going to be touching any metal on the inside, because that can create a short. And I'm going to make sure that these tabs are all up top so that we're not angled too far over and what have you. So place this over here. Now, the only thing I really need to do here as I'm soldering this up is to make sure that I got A to A, B to B, and C to C. Just these three wires right here, the long wires. These two are going to be my battery connector with my XT60 that I'm going to use. So I could just go ahead and put these all together like this and figure out how they're going to work out. I should mention, anytime that you guys are soldering large wires, it's always good to get like a large chisel tip. So if you don't have different tips for your soldering iron, it's definitely a good idea to get some, because you cannot solder these large wires with a small micro tip that is used for micro soldering. I'm gonna go ahead and solder these on. I'm gonna use this to hold right next to the neck of where I'm soldering here, because it really is gonna heat up, and I need to hold this in perfect place. So we're gonna have A to A to start with. Get the B's and the C's out of here. Okay guys, so I'm just going to put on my XT60 connector. I know most of you guys use Deans or T-plugs, but I like XT60s. They're just to me, they're a superior plug. If you ever want to look into them, not many car guys use them. Okay guys, just to let you know, I have the heat shrink down here. I'm gonna go ahead and do my best to solder this with the camera right in between my hands here. It is really difficult. So I was gonna try and go as fast as I can. I can't hardly see. Alright guys, so I have everything soldered up, and I decided to, instead of place my ESC underneath the top deck here, I went ahead and put it on top of the top deck. It will give me a little bit more weight shift. I have the Wi-Fi module right here, and the antenna is actually just right next to the control antenna. And I've had a little bit of open space down here, which makes it look nice and clean. If we turn this around here, I have my receiver here. Just a couple little frayed wires going on over here. Just I need to clean all that up. This is the cable that goes over here to my fan, so I just need to connect these two JSTs. I installed the pinion as well, and let me go ahead and turn this on, and I have the on switch right over here. That's what it sounds like, and let's just check my steering real quick. And then here's the throttle. So it's pretty nice. Let me just go over how to do the throttle calibration. It is super simple. I'm gonna turn off the car. While the car is turned off, I'm gonna press this little button right here and turn the car on at the same time. And it's gonna put it into throttle calibration mode here. So I have, there we go. You can see the button blinking there. And it's got me a little flash here. Now here, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go full throttle now. Now I'm gonna go back to neutral, brake, back to neutral. It flashes and gives you a tone. That means you're fully taken care of there. On the Bluetooth module, it'll have a little green light on the outside of it that tells you that it is active. The greenish yellow light right there. And when you connect to the Bluetooth, or excuse me, when you connect to the Wi-Fi module, you'll need to take your device, whether it's an iPhone or an Android, and make sure that you are, once you turn on the unit, that you connect to that unit. So this is going to be the BL ESC, which shows up on your when you search for your Wi-Fi devices, and the code for it, the ESC code, the password protected code, is 12345678990. So this is the BLWM Wizard, and this is what it looks like after you download it for your Android or Apple device. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my settings, and I'm going to make sure that I am connected to the Wi-Fi. So if you can see here, the Wi-Fi, the BLWM ESC is what's going to come up on your Wi-Fi detector. You make sure you're connected to that. And what you'll see in the upper right hand corner is a connection tab. So if I tap on that, you'll see that now I'm not connected because it's illuminated white and the settings in the live tab are gray. Now if I tap on that again, I will be connected. Now if this is your first time connecting to it, you're going to want to make sure you put in your Wi-Fi passcode. At that point it'll ask you for it, which is 12345678990. I'm just going to go through the settings tab real quick to show you guys what really quickly my settings are. And excuse the chattering in the background, that is my servo that likes to chatter like that. Now, just to let you guys know, if you guys change any of these settings here, see I'm changing the cutoff voltage here. Let's say I'll just put it to 3.5. You always want to touch the upper right hand corner, not this button, but the one next to it, which is it's basically you're saving all your settings. So at the end of all this, you want to save all your settings. If you don't do that, if you go through and make all these changes and you don't hit that, it'll all go back to normal. So here you can change your motor direction, the number of poles, the gear ratio, the tire diameter, cutoff temperatures, all this good stuff. Going to the throttle settings here, these are all just left at stock, except for the bottom I put the neutral width at normal. Reverse, let's say you want to change your reverse function, you can change that to two-way or one-way. I'm just going to leave it at stock. Reverse delay is at 0.5 seconds. This is a setting that I change, and reverse amount is at 50%. I never want 100% reverse. Drag brake I set at 15%. I might be changing that depending on my needs. And the minimum brake amount is 30%, which is stock, and maximum is going to be 90% or 91%. The next tab here is the brake frequency and all this motor frequency and drag frequency. I don't really know what that means, so I'm going to skip that. Now here's where the boost and throttle comes through. If I tap on the boost limit here, if you look at the right hand side, I can actually change by touching or sliding this slider on the end here. So these are the settings that were given to me by Keith from the GGT track, what he recommends and what he has on his car. So you can either use the slider or you can use the plus or minus if you're not very good with the slider. So he just told me to go 15, 20, 25%. I'm gonna hit OK there. Delay, I don't have any turbo delay at all. I want it to go, as soon as I peg the throttle, I want to make sure that I hit that boost. The turbo slope and the plus and minus slope is going to be 0.5 seconds. And that's basically it. I'm just going to hit my save tab here. It says save complete. And I'll go back, and there is some live things that you can check out. Let's see if I just grab my throttle real quick. You can see the motor RPM there. You can record that if you wish. Let me go back. There's a log. I don't really know how the log works with the RPMs and all that good stuff, so I'm gonna have to talk to Keith about that. Then there's an update tab, and I didn't update anything when I first got this unit. I'll ask Keith whether I need to do that or not. But that is basically it. And let's see this lower right-hand tab here. This gives you some information here and also some of the Wi-Fi information. So that's basically it, guys. Like I said, make sure that you tap your save. I kept not doing that and I kept wondering why my settings weren't saved until I found that little tab. So that's basically it. Guys, I hope you liked this video of me just taking care of this thing, getting it all up and running. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment down in the section below, and feel free to subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.